Hi guys, welcome back to Tara Makes Up. Today I'm trialing something new. I'm trialing something I want to call, let's say, Worth the Hype Wednesday, Worth the Splurge Wednesday, where I'll be testing out products that have had a lot of hype, or maybe they're quite pricey, and maybe I'll be able to help you decide whether or not these products are right for you or worth taking the splurge. So I felt the first one that I had to try out had to be the Victoria Beckham for Estee Lauder range. And this is a range that I've been really excited by actually. I feel like Estee Lauder is a brand that I know well, I trust it, I use it in my pro kit, I use it on myself, and it never really disappoints. So I really wanted to see what Victoria Beckham could bring to the table. So think of this as kind of like an in-depth review. I've also done a blog post with swatches as well, which I'll link below. And yeah, I'm gonna get cracking. Obviously, I'll apply the products when I talk about them. Generally, it is a capsule collection of pieces that Miss VB, Victoria Beckham, likes to wear herself. And I think that really shows in the collection. So some of the products, you know, if you are very, very pale or very, very dark, certain things like the beige lipstick, for example, might not be your perfect nude lipstick. However, I don't want to give too much away yet on my thoughts. I think I'm going to kind of speak as I go along. But it's inspired by her favourite cities as well. So you've got New York, LA, London and Paris. And I like the fact you can kind of mix up different things depending on your mood or maybe where you're traveling to. And yeah, I think the capsule collection for me, I was really excited about this. And the first thing we've got to talk about is the packaging, because it is amazing. I really love the packaging. I'm a sucker for black and gold anyway. I think it's classic, it's chic. To give you an idea of the compacts, this is like the size against my hand. It's very weighty, it's got a very luxe feel. I ordered some of the products from Selfridges and some of the products from Estee Lauder's site directly. And the pieces I ordered from Estee Lauder actually came in a nice little Victoria Beckham box as well that had like a little ribbon that opened, which I thought was a really nice touch to be able to get like a little collector's box. So you couldn't get this when I ordered it from Selfridges. I just got this when I ordered it direct from Estee Lauder. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the Morning Aurora. This is the illuminating cream. So again, the packaging is gorgeous. This is like a hybrid of a moisturizer and a primer in one. Smells really, really nice. Now I'm hoping I'm not going to sweat this back out again because I have been to Boom Cycle this morning and my face definitely takes a little while to stop sweating, which is lovely. But you can see as I put it on, it just gives a really nice illuminating sheen. Now, this isn't a Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector product, guys. I think it's important to note that it's not that. But again, because it's more of a moisturizer primer, I don't think it really is that category of illuminating products anyway. But it feels incredibly hydrating. I've tried this every day for about a week now, and I find makeup applies lovely on top of it. So I'll use a foundation anyway to show you on top, but you can mix it into your foundation. And what I really like with this product is actually keeping it in my handbag and then kind of reapplying throughout the day. So I'll just tap it back on top of cheekbones, I'll tap it on the bridge of my nose, and I find it just like enlivens the makeup again. This is the most pricey one in the range. This is £68, so I don't think it's a necessity. I really, really love it. I love the effect, but there are other things that you can get a similar effect with for less money. So that's with the foundation on top, and I would say from what I can see in the viewfinder, it still looks very glowy, very luminous. I think it would be a lovely primer and it is a lovely moisturizer, but that gives you an example of it with foundation on. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is the eyeshadow palette. Now I have four of the eye products, but two of the eyeshadow kind of products. The first one I have is the eye palette. Now, which one is the eye palette? I've got the highlighter. And I think this works out quite good value for money. This one is £68, which again, it's not cheap, but you get 6 eyeshadows in here. You've got a gorgeous mirror and you've got 6 really good size eyeshadows. I love the fact you get kind of classic smoky black grey tone, because I think that works really well as like an undertone for any of the other shadows. So if you're not keen on wearing a bright blue yourself, you can always have that as like a tone over the top or a wash and have it more of a smoky finish. And I think there's an interesting mix in here. Again, I think she could have played it safe and just done a neutral palette, which would have sold really well. But then I feel like what would be the point of putting her stamp on it? So for me, I'm really impressed with the colours and I like the variety. I think I was surprised she didn't do any matte eyeshadows. I thought there might have been 1 or 2 matte eyeshadows, but again, that doesn't make me like the product any less. So the quality is really, really good. They blend beautifully, they're really buttery. So I'm gonna start with the middle shade. So this kind of like goldy bronze bronzy brown sandy colour. And I think you can build these really, really well. So you can start with like say a sheer wash of colour and build up if you need to. I've not put any concealer on yet, I will do in a minute, but I just want to show you there's no kind of fall down, which I think is really, really good for these eyeshadows. And then I'm going to go into this really nice maroony colour, because I think this is really lovely for autumn. So I'm going to kind of take that along the bottom lashes and a little bit into the crease as well. I'm not doing this too perfect. Again, the whole kind of inspiration of her collection, she said, was like sweaty skin, that kind of rock and roll, undone look. And then I'm going to take something like a domed brush now, and I'm going to go in with the black grey shade. Like I said, it is pretty much black, but I'm always tempted when it's got a bit of shimmer in. I think it can look more dark grey. Again, I'm not being too perfect with it, but again, for a black, there's no fall down. So far, pretty impressed with that. And I'm also going to take a bit of that under the lash line. So I'm going to take a little bit of that, and I'm going to mix in the black and the maroon tone. So I'm just going to take that under the lash line. So at this point, I still have no concealer on. I think to make it fair now, I'm going to put some concealer on, because obviously having a dark eye with no concealer does make it look quite dark throughout the rest of the skin. But I don't know if you can see, there's not really any fall down at all. So as I was doing it, it wasn't like I was kind of buffing the brush and loads of product was flying off. So I'm very impressed with that. I'm going to move on to the Victoria Beckham. This is the eye Kajal, which is double-ended, and one side is vanilla, which is a nice skincare tone, and the other side is black saffron, which is a black tone. Now, this I think she gets 10 points for. I feel like this is a really good idea. This is so practical to be able to be, again, that whole idea of like a capsule makeup bag, making things smaller. I love the idea you could have just this one product and you've got a black liner and a nude. So I'm gonna use black vanilla. And what I will say with this, black saffron, sorry. So it is incredibly, incredibly blendable. So a little of this goes a long way. From what I found wearing it, it doesn't set as such, but it doesn't move about too much. I think it moves only when you put more pigment on. So I'm going to take it into the bottom lash line, and that's all I'll need. From there, I can literally blend it down. But as you can see already, it's a lot of pigment, which I personally like. I feel like if I'm buying an eye kohl, I want to be able to blend it. I want it to be able to create that soft smoky eye. So literally just with one tap of my brush, I've just been able to pull that into the eye makeup. So very easy to use, very simple. Then I'm going to take the black kohl as well, and I'm going to do some dots along the top lash line. So quite messy. And then back to the same eye brush again as well, and I'm just going to kind of swipe that into the roots of the lashes. And you can see how intense that pigment is, which again, for me, that's what I want in an eye kohl. So, you know, that might put some people off because it is very, very smoky. But I do think, again, I've got no mascara on yet as well, and I really like that eye effect. So I did buy one of the Eye Metals eyeshadow in Bitter Clove, which again, gorgeous little packaging. You've got the leather ribbed casing. You get a mirror in as well, which is nice. So this one, I think this is a product that's better to use with fingers. Now you can use this as a wash of colour. When I've been watching other people's reviews, I had noticed they'd use this just as an eyeshadow on its own, which you totally can do, but I think it works almost, it reminds me of what Charlotte Tilbury has in her like 4 eye quads, where you get the glitter that you press on with your finger. So I'm gonna do that because that's kind of more what it reminds me of. So the pigment on this, again, you can really, really build. But I'm just going to tap it over the eye. It's nice seeing Estee Lauder do something different. When I said at the beginning of this video, I wanted to see what Victoria Beckham could bring to the table. This is kind of what I had in mind, something that's, you know, this is a little bit different for Estee Lauder. So we've got a bit of mascara on now. I think there's one more eye product that I want to show you guys, which I feel like is a Marmite product. So it's one of those things when I've seen people reviewed, they kind of had the same comment that they don't really get it. They don't know if they would wear it. I'm talking about the Victoria Beckham. This is the eye foil, and I've got blonde gold. I really like the packaging. It still feels quite weighty. Now, this is on almost like a doe foot applicator. So again, this is what she talks about when she talks about achieving her sweaty kind of lived in makeup look. Now, you can use this as a wash all over the eye, but for me, I'm not as keen on that. When I was testing out, what I like most is how they've used it in the campaign, which is where they've just used it on the inside part of the eye. So like that, I think that gives a really nice effect. And I think it's kind of, I think a more minimal way of using it for me looks cooler. It looks that little bit more editorial. So I just pop it on. It does start wet, but it does dry as well, which is good. So it's not going to move about throughout the day, which I think is, I like the technology they thought about with that. And what you can do is you can always take like a Q-tip and just kind of spread it around a little bit. So if you want to take a bit more of that gold, and it comes in 2 colours as well. There was more of like a pewtery colour. But I really like that. I think that's really, really cool. So it's not going to be for everybody. It's not a wear to the office makeup. I think in terms of most people's capsule makeup wardrobe, you're probably not going to need it. But again, in terms of what has Victoria Beckham brought to the table for Estee Lauder, as a makeup artist, this excites me. I feel like it's a little bit different. It's cool. I like how easy it is to use. It's quick. And that's how I would use the foils. So I like it. I think it's a Marmite product. You don't need it, but I think it's really cool and fun. So the next big compact is the bronzer. Now, I think this is what I would call an average tone bronzer. Some people are saying it's very dark, but I think if you do have a very, very pale skin, this probably will be too dark for you. And if you are very pale, you want to be looking for something like the kind of Body Shop honey bronzer in 00 or something that's much lighter anyway. But I'm going to show you on my skin tone. I would say at the minute I have quite a bit of a tan, so I'm going to start applying it with a big brush and into the hairline. And I've used this quite a few times now and I really, really like it. I think it's really nice. It's very reminiscent of the Tom Ford bronzer. Again, you've got a nice big mirror. Again, especially into the hairline, I think it creates a really nice glow. A little bit more onto the cheeks. Then we have Modern Mercury, which is in another big compact as well. And this is a favourite of VB because I've never tried this before, but apparently this was like quite a famous product that Estee Lauder were well known for back in the day. And they, I think, stopped making it, so she begged them to bring it back. I think this is really, really beautiful. It is more of a champagne-y pinky bronzer highlighter, but I absolutely love this. I think this is very, very, again, this is more like the Shimmering Skin Perfector that Becca do in the powder form. It's intense, it's beautiful. So let's just swatch so you're ready. You can see, boom. So that really does pack a punch. And I feel like it almost, you know, I was saying you don't get a blusher. I feel like this is almost a little bit pinky in it, but I still think it's best kind of on tops of the cheekbones. But wowie, that is full on. A little bit down my nose as well. A little bit on my Cupid's bow. Again, a little of this goes a really long way. I feel like that is incredibly pigmented, but beautifully so. And one other thing I was going to mention actually about the bronzer, where have I put it, that I did do when I've been testing it out this week, is I really like this just to warm up the eye through the socket. So I'm going to go back in with the blending brush I used earlier. Just take a little bit of the bronzer just through the socket. And I feel like this is a really nice way to kind of tie in the bronzer in the skin as well. And you know, I was saying you don't get any matte eyeshadows. I think this is a good way around that, just using the bronzer almost like for a little bit of contour in the eye. Now, lips I think is where it's hardest because there are 2 shades and the red shade I think is gorgeous. It's like an orangey bright red. I'm not going to try it on with this look because I feel a bit too much with the eyes. My only grievance with the lipsticks are the packaging doesn't have the same, has a click, but it doesn't feel as luxe as the rest of the packaging, especially the compacts. And if I compare it to another lipstick, it feels slightly shorter. So that's a Chanel lipstick and that's a VB lipstick. So when I actually got it out of the box, I actually felt like it was smaller than I thought it was going to be. So I think inside probably has the same amount of lipstick as you get with any other lipstick. And you get the lovely little VB on the end, but I did feel like it was small. So that was my only little thing. Maybe it's just me, but yeah, that was something I noticed. So I bought the lip pencil, which I really, really like. This is in the shade Victoria. Now, for me, this is more of a brownie nude, which I don't mind, but I do feel like I need more of a tan for this to work on me. If I'm super pale, it can be a bit jarring. So the lip pencil feels nice. It kind of doesn't drag. Just gives that little bit of shape. So then I'm going to go in with Brazilian Nude lipstick. Now, again, this is more of a brown tone nude. I do really like it. I like the consistency. It's more sheer compared to the Ready Orange lipstick, but it is more browny, more beige. So keep that in mind. If you're super pale, again, this probably won't work for you, unless you want a really 90s look. For me, it does feel like a little bit too brown. But I think what I would do is I would use it quite sheer and then mix like a pink tone over the top just to soften it. but it's good for you guys to be able to see. Like I said, I'm quite tanned at the minute, but I know if I was more tanned, I think it would definitely suit me more. I think if you had an olive complexion or a darker skin tone, this would be a great nude on you. But it is definitely more on the brown side. But yeah, what do you think, guys? Let me know. I want to know what you guys think. Generally, overall, I really love it. And I feel like I am a sucker for packaging, but again, because I'm a makeup artist, I do feel like I know whether or not I would keep something or give it away. And I will be keeping all of this. The things that surprise me most are the eye foils. I actually really like these, and I think a lot of other people didn't. The lipsticks I like, but I think the red one I'll probably end up using more. And I love the eyeshadow palette. I think this one is gorgeous. I think this is going to be a firm favourite for autumn. The bronzer, I really like it. I love Modern Mercury. I think the eye foil, this is something that I do really like. I like the effect of it, but I don't know if it's something I'll use lots. I think I could probably maybe use the eye foil more, but I do like that. The pencil, I think, is incredible. That for me is a hands down gorgeous product. I have used these over the past week and I've worn them out for 2 evening occasions. They lasted brilliantly. I found that I actually had to remove them again with like an oil-based eye makeup remover to get the eye products off. The base products lasted really well. The lipsticks were pretty standard, same as any other lipstick. If you eat, you know, you start to lose a little bit of it, but again, they felt nice, the quality is good. So let me know in the comments down below, guys, what you think of it, if there's a product you have already brought and what you thought of it, or if there's a piece that you'll be looking to buy from the collection. And let me know if you like this feature. I think it's something I would like to do more often, just depending on how I can fit it in with work. I do film every Sunday at 10:30 GMT time, so UK time. So yeah, there's a video every Sunday. I'd love it if you subscribe, and don't forget to check out the blog as well, because I've done a full post with swatches as well of the other products, like the red lipstick I didn't mention and the nil end of the eye pencil. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to see you soon with more videos. Thanks very much. Bye.